2 summers ago, my girlfriend reintroduced me into the magical world of anime, and since then I have been on an anime binge-watching spree, gobbling up as much as possible. So today, I'll be counting down 5 of my favorite anime television shows that you need to watch if you haven't already. This show is far from a secret, with an explosive first season that has fans of the show and the manga begging for more. The recently released live-action 2-part film didn't receive as stellar reviews as the television show, but for this list, we're only looking at the show. In the show, we follow the adventures of Eren Yeager, who enlists in the military alongside his foster sister and friends after Eren's mother was brutally eaten by a titan that breached their walls. If you can't handle sudden and frequent deaths of what appear to be very important characters, this show is not for you, as the characters drop like flies before your eyes in this immensely exciting show. I would have ranked this show higher, but with only 1 season under its belt, I felt like some of the longer running shows were more deserving for their consistency. This is the show that started it all for me. As a younger kid in elementary school, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were amongst my favorite television shows. I spent countless hours drawing the characters, poorly I might add, but nonetheless my friends and I would talk non-stop about which characters were more powerful than one another, while sprinting home to make sure we got home in time to watch it. Keep in mind, this was before you could download, stream, or even record a show easily. God damn, I love technology these days. VHS was horrible. I can clearly remember like it was yesterday the first time we witnessed Goku turn into the Super Saiyan form. My god, it was a life-changing moment that made me nearly shit myself as a kid. After nearly 2 years of my roommate telling me how awesome Naruto was, I finally gave the show a chance and watched the original show on Netflix. I should have listened to him much sooner. This show is fantastic. I managed to crush out the original version of the show that follows Naruto as a younger kid ridiculously fast, although I did have some help by skipping the filler episodes. For those of you unfamiliar with filler episodes, they're basically episodes that don't involve any progression in the main story arc or characters, in order to stall the show to prevent overlap that could cause problems for both the show and the manga. This show is incredibly exciting with twists and turns around every corner that will have you binge watching like crazy, but I definitely recommend watching this show in Japanese. The American version has some really weak voice acting, including the main hero Naruto being really annoying. Death Note is one of my favorite television shows of all time, whether it's anime or not. It's an incredibly sophisticated and intelligent show that leaves you on the edge of your seat at all times. In Death Note, you follow a young and bored genius named Light, who discovers the Death Note, a notebook that kills anyone whose name is written in it. After some experimentation, Light is joined by the notebook's previous owner, Ryuk, a Shinigami or the God of Death. After the experimentations, Light begins utilizing the Death Note to exterminate people he considers to be immoral and unjust, to ultimately create a utopia that he would proclaim himself to be God. After the deaths of numerous criminals, Interpol and an equally genius detective named L play one of the most exciting games of cat and mouse on television. There are only 37 20-minute episodes, so this show is easy to pick up and binge watch over a week or so. And rounding up our top 5 at number 1 is The Full Metal Alchemist. This show follows the journey of 2 young brothers who perform a forbidden alchemic technique of human transmutation in an attempt to resurrect their mother. Unfortunately for the brothers, the transmutation backfires, taking away Edward's left leg and his younger brother Alphonse's entire body in the law of equivalent exchange. Edward quickly sacrifices his right arm to rescue his younger brother Alphonse's soul, binding it to a suit of armor. After the incident, Edward is invited to become a state alchemist, where he and his brother will be able to research a way to restore Alphonse's body back to normal. This show has epic fight sequences, a heartfelt story, and follows numerous themes about social problems. On Netflix, you will find 2 different options, The Full Metal Alchemist and The Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Make sure to watch the later, or if you're like me, just watch both. Brotherhood follows the original manga storyline, whereas the first version is an original storyline that just isn't quite as good. Brotherhood features some great English voice casting, so it's very watchable in both English or Japanese depending on your preference. So there you have my top 5 anime television shows. Now, of course, I'm leaving out some of the most popular animes ever off this list, like One Piece. So that's where you come in. Let me know your favorite anime television shows of all time, so I have more to watch. I have a few honorable mentions though, based off animes that I have watched: Sword Art Online and No Game No Life. I won't go into too much details about those two as I have follow-up videos planned for both of them, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already.